how to build sustainability and prosperity in fruits and vegetable food systems. Organic and agroecological growers tell their story. This is a webinar organized by FAO, IFOM Organics International. And I'm Julia Lernou, I'm Vice President of IFOM Organics International, and I'm talking to you from Argentina. So we have people from all over the world. That's one of the upsides of this technological world. So as you might know, the UN General Assembly designated 2021 the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables. FAO is the lead agency for celebrating the year in collaboration with relevant partners, one of which is IFOM Organics International and is member of the steering committee. IFOM Organics International and FAO have a long story of cooperation and has recently signed an MOU to keep strengthening the cooperation with FAO and especially with the Scaling Up Agroecology Initiative. The International Year of Fruits and Vegetables 2021 raised awareness on the crucial role of fruits and vegetables in human nutrition, food security, and health, and as well in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Organic and agricultural fruits and vegetable growers provide clear examples of how it's possible to produce while protecting the environment, growing biodiversity, preserving the soils, and mitigating and adapting to climate change, one of our biggest threats we are facing. Organic and agroecological producers build inclusive value chains that improve the quality of life of family farmers and their communities. They generate income, they improve security and nutrition, and enhance resilience through sustainable managed local resources and increase agro-biodiversity. Today, we will hear a successful story and inspiring from organic and agroecological growers from different corners of the world. They will show us how it's possible to build sustainable and prosperous food systems, the importance of diversified production, and the leading role of farmers on showcasing how changing the current food systems is possible. For some tips for today's session, we have translation, so please take at the bottom of the screen, you will see a globe. There you can choose to hear the interpretation in Spanish or French. So I will also encourage our panelists to talk a bit slower so our interpreters can do their work and don't stress. Furthermore, please, I invite all the audience to place your questions in the Q&A box because we will have the chance of our panelists to share some feedback on your concerns, ideas, etc. So we are having over 130 participants today, so I hope more will join. And well, again, I hope you enjoyed this session. I think it's always important that we hear directly from the people in the ground, getting their hands dirty and growing the food, these vegetables, these fruits that we need to keep on living, that really, sometimes we forget, we believe, okay, we can get it from the supermarket, from a shelf, but no, there's tons of people, there's tons of energy, of resources behind that salad you eat, behind each plate you've set on your table. So to kick off this session, I would like to invite you to see a short movie. It's 3 minutes video. And so now we will jump to that, and then we will jump directly to our panel discussion. Thank you very much and welcome again.
ഞാൻ ശിവരാമൻ. ഞാനൊരു അധ്യാപകനോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കാർഷിക ശാസ്ത്രജ്ഞനോ ഒന്നുമല്ല. വെറും 2 ഏക്കർ സ്ഥലം കൃഷി ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സാധാരണ കർഷകൻ. പുരയിട കൃഷി എന്ന വിഷയമാണ് നമ്മളിവിടെ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുന്നത്. പുരയിട കൃഷി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ പറമ്പിൽ നമ്മുടെ പുരയിടത്തിലുള്ളതായ വസ്തുക്കളെ മാത്രം ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു കൃഷിയാണ്. പുറമേ നിന്ന് ഒരു സാധനവും നമ്മൾ വാങ്ങിയിട്ട് വരില്ല. കൃഷിയുടെ പ്രധാന ഘടകം മണ്ണാണ്. മണ്ണിന് ആരോഗ്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലേ മനുഷ്യന് ആരോഗ്യമുള്ളൂ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കണം.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia, a small-scale farmer from Nairobi, Kenya. And I would like to share with you about the power of kitchen gardens. 10 years ago, my family moved to a nearby village to Nairobi known as Limuru, and our parents gave us half an acre of land to grow our food. And most people told me, that land is too small, you'll get nothing out of it. And they were right to an extent, because if I grew only one crop, say only maize or only cabbages or only beans, I would not get any profit and I would not get anything from that half an acre. But I decided to grow all my family food. I decided to grow everything that we ate, and we planted all our greens, we planted fruits, we planted carrots, potatoes, onions, name it. And in a few months' time, I actually realized that I had more than enough food for my family. And that's how my business, Sylvia's Basket, was born. And I was able to sell my organic baskets to other mothers just like me in the city who wanted to make sure that their children and their families were eating safe organic produce.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Welcome everybody again for the ones that just joined. Again, I will invite all of you to ask your questions in the Q&A box. We have participants from all over the world, from Pakistan, South Africa, Congo, the US, Switzerland, Mexico, and as diverse as our attendees, we have a very diverse and inspiring panel discussion with growers from all corners of the world. We have a wonderful table, and so please let me introduce them. We have Sylvia Miloya Kuria from Sylvia's Basket. We just saw her in the video, and we will want to chat a little bit more and learn more from her experience. We had Werner Castiglioni from Bio-Südtirol. We have Maya Stolaskita Berling from 12 Organic. We have Thales Mendoza from Pronovis Agroforestal. And we have Luca Colombo from the Italian Foundation for Research in Organic and Biodynamic Agriculture. And also, we will have Emma Siliprandi from FAO Scaling Up Agroecology Initiative to close our session today. But let's jump first to our wonderful discussion table with the presenters today. And I would like to start with Sylvia. So Sylvia, if you can join me to the table and turn on your camera. Sylvia is from Kenya. She's an organic certified farmer with over 10 years of experience. She started to grow safe food for her family in her kitchen garden. When she learned the negative impacts of synthetic inputs on her health and her family's health. Soon, her garden had more than enough to feed her family, and she wanted to share these wonderful products. So she founded Sylvia's Basket. As she said in the video, it was not only for her, but also other mothers, other families searching for better food for their families. In 2019, she opened an organic farm shop in Nairobi to market organic food accessibly and affordable for everybody. The shop is a platform for other small-scale farmers to market their products as well. Sylvia is a graduate of the IFARM Organic Leadership course. Is something that I really encourage others to join. So she's really one of our own, and is an active advocate for organics in Africa and around the world. So really, Sylvia, it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. To jump a little bit on the discussion, we know that small-scale farmers are the ones that are actually feeding the world, but somehow this is not recognized and is not promoted, and their impact, the actual change they make is not made aware. So what do you think this concept of kitchen gardens, of backyard gardens is not further promoted? This of everybody getting connected to their ground. Also, because this comes linked to, you might know that in 2015, the UN General Assembly approved the Sustainable Development Goals as a pathway to a sustainable future, to really clear guidelines on how we can reach. And we have two of those goals, the one that is the 2 that is zero hunger, then we have the 3 that is good health and well-being. And there we see that food has a crucial role. So why is still organic produce also classified as a niche? So we have two questions, no? Why we are not all jumping into farming, and why is still conceived this organic as a niche and maybe for the elites?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Julia, and nice to meet everybody. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my story and share my experience. And, I'm very passionate about kitchen gardens, to be honest, because that's how I started. As you saw in the video, I just started growing food for my family, and I soon had more than enough. And I'm very passionate about it. And even just seeing how to document how even we on the African continent can actually be able to have our own materials, whereby we can know how to grow our own kitchen gardens using our own indigenous vegetables. So I find that, like in many interventions, you find that kitchen gardens are not given the attention that they really need. And yet, when you think about most farmers that we have around the world, actually, and more so in Africa, which is in my context, most farmers that are feeding us actually have less than 2 acres of land, and they're able to do it. And one thing I've seen in the power of kitchen gardens is one, that you're able to actually make sure that these farmers are actually able to meet their nutritional needs. Because when they're able to grow, a wide variety of vegetables like we have, like on our farms, say, for example, we actually grow more than 20 different types of vegetables in every season, you find that you're able to, manage all the nutritional needs of the family. And that has been very wonderful, because what happens is then, like whatever is left over, then you're able to actually sell it. But you find that, there are many challenges for the farmers to actually be able to access markets. And before I talk about markets real quick, I wanted to say that I'm very proud that in Kenya, our government has actually come up with a strategy to set up, through the Ministry of Agriculture, to set up 1 million kitchen gardens all over the country. And were part of the campaign. And one of the things that, that actually, brought this up was actually the COVID-19 pandemic, whereby, they realized that unless we're able to grow our own food and actually have enough nutrition for the family, we're not actually going to be able to deal with the flu, which needed that we have to make sure that, we are bumped up on our vitamins and we're able to eat well. But one thing that I find that is normally difficult for many farmers who are doing kitchen gardens is that because they think they have a very small piece of land, they monocrop. Like for me, when they told me I can't be able to get anything, most people are monocropping on their pieces of land. And what happens with monocropping, you get very little returns. And the little money you get is what you have to use to go back to the market to be able to meet your family's needs. And also you find that because that, farmers don't really have support, especially across the full value chain on logistics, you find that the farmers are really struggling to make sure, like, even if they have some extra produce, how do they get that produce into the market? And one thing I wanted just to bring out also in regards to why we need to promote kitchen gardens and small-scale farmers is that, I follow FAO online, and I know, they have this campaign once a year about the no food waste, because a lot of food ends up getting wasted on the farms. 30% of food actually gets up wasted on the farms, and about 40% with the consumers. Then why don't we be able to support these farmers to make sure that they're able to get their good produce to manage to actually get to the markets? And this can easily be done then if you're able to, work with retailers, say, for example, because what happens is, many NGOs over time have been really supporting farmers on this end, just making sure that you're able to make sure that they have good produce, but you're not supporting them through the full value chain to get their produce to the end of the market. So I'm a retailer who's selling organic produce, and I can see that I'm buying almost all my produce from small-scale farmers who have got kitchen gardens, and their biggest headache is actually logistics and us being able to get through to them. And maybe to answer the second question about why, organic has been seen as a niche product, for when, for me, when I joined the movement, about 5-6 years ago, I was very surprised to actually find that safe food was actually more expensive, and that was actually promoted. So the local farmers in my place were being told that if you grow organic, you'll actually get more money. And for me, it was fundamentally wrong because when you think about it, safe food is actually for everyone. Safe food is a fundamental human right, and everybody should have access to safe food. And I think, where we started off from, maybe the footing was a bit different, because I think what happened when we started doing organic in Kenya, that's my context, it was almost like a copy paste from Europe, whereby I know in Europe, like to get certified, you have to spend a lot of money, paying for the certification fees. But thankfully, like now in Kenya, we have something we call participatory guarantee systems, which is PGS, whereby farmer groups actually able to get certified, which means that actually certification is not a problem for us. And also the fact that you can actually be able to grow seasonal food all year round. And maybe just to conclude, I also just want to say that organic can be seen as very drudgery. It's a lot of hard manual work, weeding, being on the farm. It's very difficult. And because of that, you find that, you want to be able to, like pay yourself back for that extra work. But what happens, like in my example of my farm, I find that over years, that actually my inputs are becoming lower and lower, and I'm getting richer and richer soils, so that we practically just have to put a seed into the ground, and we're getting very good outcomes out of the farming that we are doing. And when you think about it also, our situations, I don't know how it is in Europe, maybe you can share, but for us, Kenya is very price sensitive. So if I make the food very expensive, it becomes very difficult for people to actually be able to access it. And when you make the food expensive, you're actually trying to say that safe food is a preserve of the rich, which is not true, because it's a fundamental human right for everyone to be able to access safe food. So for me, my stand is 1, kitchen gardens will save the world and be able to give us food security, and 2, safe organic produce is for everybody. Thank you very much, Julia.
Thank you, Sylvia. I think that was a wonderful kickoff for the whole roundtable. And I love to hear this initiative from Kenya. I think that's a huge step forward. And one of the attendees was already asking about the guarantee systems and the challenge that small-scale farmers might face to reach organic guarantees. And as you said, we have alternative guarantee systems as a PGS. So there's a way to all get engaged and to get also the plus from our efforts and our production systems, no? Well, I took note of many of the things that maybe we can come back later and for the second round of discussion after we go through all our wonderful panelists. And for that, I would like now to go with Werner Castiglioni. Werner, please join me here. It's very nice to have you. Let me present you first. Werner is the director of Bio-Südtirol since 2012. And I love that he says, whatever happens for Werner, the glass is always half full. I love, and I actually share this approach to life. And I think it's quite an important thing when you are trying to reach change, to see the positivity. In the years of his leadership in Bio-Südtirol, which is fully focused on the cultivation and commercialization of organic apples. It doubles in terms of member. It started to collaboration with new countries. It sharpened its variety portfolio and increased the visibility in the shop. So very huge achievements. In Bio-Südtirol, they have 300 organic farmers, and each farmer has an equal say, no matter how many hectares they manage. Ecology and democracy sit well together in the same apple cart. Today, they supply over clients in over 42 countries all year round. Also, Bio-Südtirol joined the Verband der Südtiroler Obstgenossenschaften. I'm sorry, my German is horrible. Or I don't know, I think maybe this is a Italian dialect, sorry, my ignorance, which now unites approximately 5,000 producers who manage around 11,000 hectares of cultivated land and produce over 600,000 tons of high quality fruit every year, and has become the biggest marketing organizations of apples in Europe. So I hope I present you well, Werner, you can correct, and it's really an honor to have you here. So as you state, you have 300 farmers together are way stronger than one. So a lot of voices together joining forces can make a huge impact. And you bring this wonderful and successful experience of cooperation, no, of reaching all together to the marketplace. So what is your market approach? How you bring organic apples, all these from all these 300 farmers, these organic apples onto the tables? You have special strategies. What have been the main challenge to serve also these markets that sometimes have different playing rules and change country from country, even though you are inside the European Union?
Thank you for your introduction, Julia. Yeah, we have a similar situation, and on the other hand, we are completely different as what you heard before from Sylvia, because also our farmer, they have not hundreds of hectares. The average is 3.5 hectares by a farmer. So we have also in our region, probably a lot of, or part of you was just in holiday in South Tyrol. So they can imagine there's all small farmers here. And just in the past, 100 years ago, they was thinking how we can go bigger. Alone, it's impossible. So what they have done, they create cooperatives. And yeah, I'm the director now 9 years for the cooperative of Biosito, and there are 300 only organic farmers in this cooperative. And we are the opposite because we are now big with the hands of 300 families, and with the energy of this 300 family, we now produce more than 40,000 tons of organic apples, and we are one of the biggest in Europe. So one hands the farmers and the families, where I'm happy to can be work for them. We are small, yeah, as a group, we are big. So big, it's not always easy. So you can, to answer your question, how we can sell and how we can speak. If you sell alone and you can explain personally to your consumer what you do, what is organic? It's always this question, what is the difference from a conventional production to the organic production? Then probably in the small way, it's easier. But finally, we do the same thing, only online, creating marketing. We tell only stories. Because first we was in the opinion that every people knows what we do, but it isn't. Any people knows exactly what we do. We are here in an international webinar, and probably, I don't know, probably 5% know where is South Tyrol, and most people know where it is and where is Venice. That's it. But as we was thinking that all people know something from apples. No, I know nothing from bananas. I know nothing from ananas, and so the rest of the people don't know nothing from apples. So our way is telling stories from the farmers, telling stories, the true things, the true stories, family stories, what we have, and we want to speak directly with the farmers. So that's the way how we want to create more market for the organic sector, how we want to increase the consumption for organic, not only for apples, generally. If we speak all about what we do, then also the consumer know and have more knowledge and know more about them, what is also possible to do. And probably a part of your people are thinking, yeah, it's easy if you're big and if you have the money, but it isn't. So every single producer can speak about this. Also if the neighbor, or if we're looking at the social networks, we are also your daughter, your brother, something are from your family are sure I'm there in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't know what else exists, and tell your stories, tell pictures, and send pictures, and let all people know what we and what you do. So as you said, we export to 42 different countries all the world. So we export to Hong Kong, Singapore, South America, everywhere in the world. And it's also easy, it's not easy to give the insurance, to give the people the guarantee that what is organic. So now what we do is collaborate a lot with associations, national or international associations, like IAP in Italy, like Bioland in Germany, Demeter, Craft in Scandinavia, Organica Brazil, and to give our consumer, final consumer, the most security that what we do is 100% organic.
Thank you, Werner. And that reminds me also, because this of reconnecting with consumers, bringing awareness. Somehow in the last 50 years, consumers completely disconnected from production and from where food comes from and what is behind each of the foods, as I said at the beginning. And this would like to invite everybody with IFOAM. We have the campaign, I Grow Your Food campaign, that for sure Werner and the farmers in the cooperative joined, and really putting a face behind each apple we eat, each banana, each lettuce, and know that there's efforts, there's people, there's livelihoods behind that. And now, as you say, there's so many channels of communication, so there's no excuses anymore. Thank you, Werner.
Use the possibilities.
Exactly, use the possibilities. Thank you, Werner, very much. And I would like now to invite Maya. Maya is an organic woman farmer since 2012. So Maya, please show me and turn on your camera. It's really nice. I have met her a couple of years ago in the Philippines, and I have been fully inspired by her and all her work. Before being an organic farmer, Maya was actively involved in many activities, such as the Committee for Children's Conference on Climate Change. She's the co-founder of 12 Organic with her friend Vita, that is their organic vegetable and fruit products brand. In 2016, she was elected as Young Agri-Entrepreneur Ambassador. And in 2017, she was also an alumni of the Second Asia Organic Youth Forum. There is where I met Maya. Between 2017 and 2020, she was the president of the Indonesia Organic Alliance, and she has been also country representative for Innofo. In 2019, she was awarded with the 10th Astra Satu Indonesia Award for Environment. 12 Organic currently has 8 farms and work with 20 women's farmers. In 2018, they built an organic women's farmers group. So she's really pushing all us women working in organic towards empowering ourselves and finding our place and fighting for it. So Maya, you have worked a lot with women and advocating with neighbor farms to convert to organic. So you are truly an advocate and a champion of organic. Why you have focused on working with women farmers? How was your experience on bringing that energy together and uniting all those women and empowering them? And how you convinced them to join to organic? What were the main challenges you found there? And did you have special strategies? What you learned throughout that process? Thank you, Maya, again for being here.
Thank you, Julia, for the introduction of me. And then hello, everyone. Warm greetings from Indonesia. Why we are focused on work with women farmers in our community in 12 Organic? We have 3 reasons. So the first reason is we want to be really actively involved to solve the problem of farmer regeneration in our country, in Indonesia. So as we know, in Indonesia, we really have a number of young people who are interested in agriculture, especially in organic agriculture. So in Indonesia, mostly our farmers, their age is above 50 years old. So we really need more young people to interested and also join in agriculture. And then why we choose women? Because we believe that women has a really important role in family's life. We believe that the first person who put the dream to their children is a mother. So if we can show to the mother, to the women, that by doing organic agriculture with the good knowledge and also a skill of management, like what Werner said before, we can have a better life also. So these farmers, the women farmers, this mother can share that knowledge, can share the information also to their children, and then hopefully influence their mindset also to be a farmers. And then the second reason is actually we want to encourage our women farmers to be brave enough to give their voices. In Indonesia, actually, in our family farmers, the main role and the main actor in our family farmers actually women. Why? Because of the husband or the man, mostly they work outside the village. So the one who taking care of the land is women. But when it comes to the administration matters or any meeting about government policy or the government subsidy to the agriculture, the invitation is always goes through the men, because they think like women doesn't have enough knowledge, and also doesn't have enough skill in communication. So that's why we want to work with them and scaling up their knowledge also, and also updating their information related to the organic agriculture. And by active in some organization or some activities in organic movement in Asia and in Indonesia, like in Organic Youth Forum and also in Innovo, I also scaling up my knowledge and also information. So that really helpful for me to deliver well the knowledge and information to our women farmers. And then the third reason is like I do agree with what Sylvia said before, that when we talk about the kitchen, when we talk about the vegetables and then the fruit, it's totally, it's the main actor in the kitchen is the mother. So when we work, since our farmers is women, and also, yeah, 95% of our market is a household. So we work also with the mother. So it's like how to build our market itself. Actually, it's like we build a sisterhood. So in that relationship between the production and also the market, it's easy for us to give the knowledge to also give them why it's supposed to be organic, and then why they have to buy the seasonal vegetables. That also give us a free for the farmers, feel free to plan what kind of crops they can plant, and then as many as they can. And then it won't crash with the demand. Mostly with our food system, what happened in our supply and value chain is that the demand crash with the production because of the season. In Indonesia, we have two seasons, dry season and rain season, like this month. So when in rainy season, we can give knowledge and we can educate our customer that in the rainy season, this kind of vegetables, this kind of variety of the crops that we plant. And then they also understand why, the reason why we plant in that. And then they also can understand about the climate change itself. And then how I convince to the farmers, because we need 5 years to convince them and to ask them to join to do organic agriculture, because before they work in conventional agriculture, and then the first year when we come to this village, and then we do organic agriculture at that time, maybe because of we are look really young, and then they still like not really confident to work with us because it's like it's really or something like that. So we need 5 years. We stay here in this village. We are not from this village actually, but we moved to this village, and then we are not from a family farmers background, so we don't have a land. So we rent a land, and then we stay for 5 years, and then we do organic agriculture. We show to them how to manage the market, and then how we can harvest 2 to 4 times a week. We harvest, and then we have a good income in the varieties of the crops. So we plant 50 to 70 crops. And then when they see that, they see our activity, daily activity in the farm, and then they feel, okay, I want to be joined to this group. And then how we scaling up their knowledge, we managed to have a kind of class session. So we have 4 class sessions. So when they join us, and then they must follow that class. So the first class is about the understanding the philosophy of organic agriculture. And then the second one is the production of organic agriculture. And then the third one is the participatory guarantee system. So it seems like what Sylvia and also Werner said, it's really important to have the guarantee system in organic. But why we choose PGS? Because what we see here is when we involve in the PGS, our farmers is really involved in this process of the guarantee system. So they do they make a note, and then they also have their document. So they really understand why it's supposed to be guaranteed, and then what kind of process that they have to do when do the certification. And then the last class session is farm management. Why farm management is important? Because we want them to really know that being farmers is not only talk about the production, but also farmers must know also the mechanism of the market. So the farmers also must have the skill of management, how to manage the plant, the crops, and then how to manage the harvest time, and then also how to manage the market itself, or what kind of market that they will sell their product. So I think that's the reason and also how we convince them. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Maya. I think you brought crucial points. And I love to see that you perceive that there's a lot of interest in the young people in Indonesia to join farming and start to get their hands dirty, as I like to say, and get in contact with their food. And that is also a huge work we need to do, because worldwide that's not the case in many places, and farmers are getting old and young people don't see a future in farming. And we believe that in organic, that's not the case, no? That there's a great and prosperous future for young people and for women. And as you said, we need women to be brave and put their voice out there and show all their knowledge and capacities they have and regain the space they deserve. And it has been always there, but we sometimes get shy or not brave enough to claim it, no? Thank you, Maya. So we will keep on discussing later. I would like to remind also for the audience, if you want to place questions to the panelists, I will also suggest that you put, if you have a specific question to one of the panelists, put the name of that panelist. And if you have a comment, please clarify that it's a comment. And so then after the next two panelists I will now present, we can go through with all of them. So now I would like to jump from Indonesia to the other side of the world, to Brazil, and present you Thales Mendoza. Please, Thales, turn on your camera and join us here. Thales is a young agroforestry farmer from Brazil, growing vegetables, fruits, mushrooms, and forest together with his partner, Karina. He's a technical consultant in agroforestry production, mushroom cultivation in lodge, processing and commercialization, and topic related to organic agriculture. He's a member of INOFO Latin America, working with organic farming, PGS systems, and sustainable commercialization change. Together with Karina, they have a 4-hectare farm that have started from zero. And since the beginning, they started on an agroforestry system, which is a technique that involves multi-species of trees, vegetables, fruits, crops, etc. Now, Thales will tell us a little bit about this. And it's something that really relates to our previous panelists on the importance of diversified production and how that also brings diversified income and reduce risks of loss. And they have about 1.5 acres of agroforestry that produce vegetables, fruits, and wood. For the mushrooms production, they also sell through their website and have also a street market once a week. And now they have a little agro industry on farm where they can process their harvest so they can offer other products to their clients. Through all this experience they have gained from starting this adventure, they now have vast knowledge, and they share that knowledge in courses and workshops on how to grow mushrooms on lodge and how agroforestry systems work. And they really work on promoting and advocating for agroforestry system production. So really nice to have you here with us, Thales. So I'll read off questions. Yes. Agroforestry is a complex system, is rich, and it also needs some knowledge. It needs time, it needs work. So how is possible to scale up agroforestry farms? How you work with this dynamic of the mix of different species to keep the quality and the quantity in a high level? And then a key question that I think you are an expert on that, on what is the role of mushrooms in all this system? Why mushrooms? Why you brought that piece into the puzzle?
Thank you, Julia. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm talking to you here from Brazil, and I'm a young farmer with my partner, as Julia said, and there are a lot of things about agroforestry that I would like to share with you, but I will stick to my time and to some questions. We start to farm our vegetables and fruits alone, and we were always asking us, why we are producing food without other elements, other parts of the nature. And we were always wondering to include trees and other species that could come together. And from that point, we start to study and to practice agroforestry. And nowadays we can grow our vegetables, our fruits, and also mushrooms together with lots of trees and lots of life that comes together. This mushroom topic, we were growing lots of fast wood, if I can say like this. Some species that comes earlier to grow the whole system to provide mulching, organic material to the other fruits and vegetables. And we had some logs, pieces of trees available, and we were cutting it and setting in the soil. But then we learned that we could grow mushrooms in these logs. And then we started our first experiences, and it was going well, and we were studying more and doing better. And nowadays it's one of our main activities in farm. It's growing mushrooms on logs, and we grow these trees, we plant these trees, and when these trees get enough size, we cut it and we grow mushrooms. And after 1-2 years, we take these logs again to the agroforestry and we put in the soil again. And these wood, if I can say, contaminated with this mycelium or these fungi, will provide a rich soil life that will help the whole system, the roots of the whole system, work together and communicate it within them. And it fitted very well. So we plant a tree, we cut it, and then we earn some money and we sell our mushrooms. And then again, we take this material back to the same system. We are not working as a line, but now we are working as a circle. And this circle makes a whole sense. And working with agroforestry, just to share with you experience this year, we had a very strong frost season or frost time here in Brazil, in our region, and all plants were freezed and very, very cold. Most of the farmers lost lots of crops and coffees and other species because they had monocropping or just some very small diversifying agriculture. And we here in our agroforestry, we had lots of species and trees, and we created a small ecosystem, a different atmosphere that could resist better from this frost. Of course, the frost also affected us, but very, very less in comparison with other farmers. And it just showed the importance to inspire on the nature mechanisms, how nature teaches us, We don't need to just plant or grow one thing alone. We can diversify it. And on this, we have to focus, because nowadays we all know the climate change and the climate crisis are reaching all of us in the whole world, everywhere. We are feeling it. And if we don't move, if we don't change to sustainable practices, and more than sustainable, resilient, we need to be resilient, because the future, unfortunately, it seems to be very, very difficult and challenge for us. So we see on agroforestry mechanisms and technique that it will help us to keep growing food and quality of food to us and to our people. About scaling up, it's a very big challenge. It's very possible, but we need to come together with the whole sectors, private sector, technology engineers and all these people thinking together, because it's a very different way of farming, and we still don't have many machines or many technology developed for that. So slowly some companies are coming, people are dispersing or looking that it's a good market or a good new opportunity. So we need it to focus more, and of course the economic dimension or point has to come together. We need money for that, for finance that research and that people all together. So it's very possible. We have some experience in Brazil that are big farmers, agroforestry farms. They are scaling up, but still not that much. We see more agroforestry farms on small scale farmers as myself, but we are going to there. And of course, we like all other panelists said, that we have to become together to make cooperatives and associations. As we are here, I'm also a member from a PGS certification and organization, Rede Ecovida in Brazil. And from this association, I got my street market where I sell my products. And nowadays we have an online shop. With this coronavirus crisis, we moved to the digital, but being together, being connected with more farmers, with more people together, it's always interesting and productive to the whole members. So I would like to share lots of more, but I will keep here. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm very happy.
Thank you, Thales. Thank you. I know you have vast knowledge, and we could be hours talking, and we will have another round to keep on. And I think there's some questions also from the audience for you. And I want to highlight some points you said. This characteristic of this closed system the agroforestry systems have, that stays in the farm, the resources come from the farm and functions by itself once well established, and the resilience that it has. That when impacts from the outside, being economic, climate, environmental, whatever, pests, it has a better resilience to face all those challenges. And also the resilience of organic markets and farmers, that when the pandemic hit, we adapted, we went to online sales, direct sales, and nothing stopped us. So really it shows, is a clear example. And well, you brought many other topics that maybe we can go through later in the second round. Thank you, Thales. So now let me jump from Brazil. Let's cross the ocean to Italy again. And I would like to present Luca Colombo. So please, Luca, join me in the table. Luca is the Secretary General of the Italian Foundation for Research in Organic and Biodynamic Agriculture, FIRAB, based in Rome, Italy. He works as FIRA's coordinator and researcher on the EU and national research and innovation projects. He has published several great and scientific papers and books on agrobiotech and food security. FIRAB, the Italian Foundation for Research in Organic and Biodynamic Agriculture, was set up in 2007 by organic and biodynamic farmers and by Environmental and Labor Association. FIRAB promotes applied research in low input farming through a participatory approach and operates technical and scientific dissemination. Luca has previously worked for Greenpeace Italy as a GMO campaign coordinator and for the Genetic Rights Foundation. Between 2005 and 2008, he has been member of the Municipality of Rome Ethical Committee, and he served as member of the International Planning Committee for Food Sovereignty Secretariat. So he has very vast knowledge, and I think he brings this of farmers as researchers, underground researchers. And sometimes we don't make that link, but they are making research every day on the ground and see direct results. So thank you, Lucas, for being with us. It's really an honor, and I'm truly looking forward to the discussion. So some questions to kick off this. When and why the Italian Organic and Biodynamic Farmers Association decided to set up this research foundation? Because it's quite unique, that came up back from the ground, really from the farmers, to say, okay, here we are, we want our research, our own research. And how you see that works, how is really this dynamic works, this exchange of knowledge, of innovation within this foundation, this FIRAB.
Thank you, Julia, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to join the panelists and to join you on this very relevant webinar. The setup of the foundation I'm coordinating was due to the initiative taken by IAB that Werner already mentioned. IAB is the Italian Association on Organic Agriculture, almost 15 years ago. And at that time, there was a sort of neglect, scientific neglect of organic farming, very limited research focusing on organic farming and working to serve the organic farmers. And so this was the rationale for founding this organization. And IAB also asked other organizations to join as promoting and founders of this foundation. And so they launched a fundraising effort in order to fulfill with the norm to establish foundations in Italy. And so it was very nice and interesting to see that many organic farms joined this fundraising effort. And so FIRAB was actually organized and set up in order to respond to those needs. Time has changed now. There is a greater attention to the organic sector, a greater effort also from institutional organizations in order to provide indications that the organic farmers may use. This is true at Italian, at European Union level, but also worldwide. So it is becoming more mainstream, including in terms of research and innovation. So yet the gap is not yet filled in. I mean, we still have to work in this direction. And our basic idea on research and innovation in and for the organic sector is to fully involve the organic farmers, the operators that are involved in the actual production and commercialization of organic foodstuff. And to do so, we do not merely focus on technical issues and needs, but we also try to operate in a larger framework, which addresses the food system as such, but it's also meant to respond to environmental and social justice, because I think that the organic sector is a sort of a clear landmark in this respect, claiming that we need to produce and consume food in order to also fulfill greater societal ambitions, such as environmental and social justice. And the idea was also to value the expertise available among the organic farmers, to work with the know-how that is available in the farm, but also the do-how. So to value practical indications that emerge from the day-by-day activities that the organic farmers are doing virtually everywhere. And to do so, we also try to facilitate, to organize farmer-to-farmers exchanges in order to share and to build a sort of common capital, knowledge capital, in order to deal with technical and non-technical issues at the farm level. And this is what we call the zero knowledge waste. We don't want to waste any kind of knowledge that can be instrumental to improve our approaches in organic. And of course, this means to involve the farmers, other sort of operators in the value chain, and also including the researchers who have a role in co-developing solutions to respond to the organic sector's needs. And this is also framed in what we call the democratization of agricultural research, which means to foster participatory approaches in research and innovation, to work on farm in order to let emerge the knowledge that is already available, and to increase the knowledge capacity of the organic farmers. But democratization also means working in order to have the institution, the research institutions and the funding institutions to acknowledge that a different way is needed in order to achieve climatic, environmental, and social goals. And to do so, we also exercise lobby activity to some extent, in order to increase the attention to the organic sector and also to increase the funding that is available for the organic sector. Thales already mentioned that funding is crucial in order to achieve the goals that we have ahead of us. And a sort of good news is that the recently launched in EC European Union initiative on organic also includes an area on research and innovation, and the European Commissioner on Agriculture pledged to have at least 30% of the budget devoted to research in the food and agriculture, to make it relevant, this 30% of budget relevant for the organic sector, which means organic calls or calls for projects that can respond to the stakes that the organic sector have. And finally, I think that the organic sector in Italy and elsewhere is also moving beyond a territorial and social dimension. So it's not just to respond to the individual needs that the farmers have, but also to organize the sector in order to fulfill a greater ambit, which is territorial social. Werner already said that they are promoting cooperation. So cooperation can be meant at the level of production, but also in terms of territorial management, in terms of providing services, including ecological services to society. So this is also an area that we are developing a lot in collaboration with the organic and biodynamic organizations that are a sort of backbone for the improvement of the entire organic sector in Italy and elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Luca. And now that you brought also cooperativism, Italy is quite of a nation of cooperatives. No, it's well known that you have the culture in your blood, in your bones of working together with some, of course, energy, Italian energy. I'm Argentinian, and we have some of your blood as well. But it's quite of an example. Every time I travel there, I learn so much. And I love what you said on this of know-how, but do-how, really on the action and these 0 ways of knowledge, because knowledge is really a rich resource that sometimes we give us granted, and that really needs to be available for all and needs to be used, and also focus the research, no? So this democratization of the farm research that we all know, and the farmers are involved on what is needed to be more researched. As Thales said, there's still not enough technology for this agroforestry system. So that is an area to keep on exploring, and researchers play a huge role in that. So I would like now to go for our second round and invite also the audience to keep on asking questions. And I would like to invite all of our wonderful panelists to turn on your camera so we all see each other. And we have been already collecting some questions for all of you. Sylvia, also please turn on your camera. And you have seen also in the Q&A, there are questions specific for you, and we have selected some. I want to thank Christina and Jonah that they are in the back end supporting and collecting all the questions for us. So let me start with some of the questions we have for Sylvia. They say, very nice to hear your story and how you feel how PGS plays the role in these kitchen gardens, how organic rules apply, no? And how to scale up this diversification of production. Would you like to react on that?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. I think for us, PGS, like especially in East Africa, really came as a savior for us at a time whereby organic systems were growing and most of us were not able to afford the certification. So basically, you find that in a PGS system, it works very well because then the farmers go through training for almost 1 full year, and then they're able to, be supported to have their systems in place. And then from there, they're able to get a market. So let me give a quick example about our shop in Nairobi, Sylvia's Basket. So most of the produce I get, I'm actually getting from PGS groups. So I have small groups from all over the country who have been trained, and they're actually able to, consolidate all their produce and send it to our shop every single day, and that really works very well. So yes, we use organic systems and we make sure that everyone is able to follow through with the systems in organic agriculture. And secondly, PGS works very well because then you're able to link small-scale farmers to reliable markets.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you very much. Now we have another question. We have a question for Werner. What is the name of the cooperative? Where are you located? How we can know that the production is 100% organic? So I assume you have certification. What type of warranty system are you using?
Thank you. Yeah, we are located in the northwest part of Italy, so middle of the Alps. The name is Bio-Südtirol. So the region is called Südtirol, and we speak German. That's why Julia had before some problems to pronounce it. Our mother language here is for the 50% of the people is German. Also my mother language. And how we can guarantee, that's what I want to explain before. So first of all, our first and most important step is that not we as a group decide if we need more organic production, if the farmer goes in conversation, yes or no. It's the farmer decide by their own self. So that's also give us the 100% insurance that the farmer do what they want. So it's their interest to do organic, and it's not another people who say you must do them. So the farmer must be convinced the mind, or conversion the mind, and then the orchard, we say always. And second is, yes, we do a lot of certifications, and as we are associated with a lot of organic association, as Luca said, AYA, for example, or Bioland in Germany, and they all ask 100% organic farms. So there's not accepted that some farmers do half of the production organic and the rest of the half conventional. But we are thinking that if a farmer wants to do organic, there is first must change the mind and then the orchard. So they must be 100%.
I like that. First change the mind, then change the orchard. Is first you need to be fully convince it, so then you will engage, and also will face better the challenges that will come in the process of converting the orchard. Thank you, Werner. So then we have a question for Thales. So I think the fungus, the mushroom part caught a lot of attention. So maybe they want to know a little bit more the changes, the role of the mushrooms in the production system. And if you have, they will also, some of the audience will be very grateful if you tell them where they can find more information on your experience, if you have some data sheets, etc. And also, if you know of other agroforestry systems in other parts of the world, for example, here they bring the Baltic area in Northeast Europe, where the the conditions might be different, but for example, mushrooms still will work. So maybe you have some reflection on that, Thales.
Okay. So the mushrooms experience have two main points, if I can say like this: the ecological one and the financial one. Because when I go to the market and I sell my mushrooms, the price of per kilo or per quantity, it's 1,000 times higher than a vegetable, for example. So for me as agroforestry farmer, of course, I will keep producing my vegetables because I need to offer this mix of products to my clients. But when I have a mushroom together, my incomes goes very higher, and it's very well for my family and all their families. And environmental way, when we plant a tree together with a vegetable, we look at that tree and we say, oh, it has no meaning, this tree here. It's just providing shadow to my vegetables. It won't work. But after 2-3 years, we cut this tree and then we have no shadow anymore. We have sun again to the vegetables, and this tree becomes our soil, because the log is the soil for the mushroom. There, our mushroom will feed, eat, and then produce. And after all this production, when this tree is over, no more nutrients, we go back with this log to the soil with very active life, because when we have the fungi in our soil, in our garden, if I can say like this, our activity under roots, where we can't see normally, people don't see it, but it works very well. We increase this activity and it helps our fruits, our nuts, our vegetables. So this circle makes the whole sense in this activity, and that's great. I have some documents and sheets and numbers and other things, but it's all in Portuguese. But maybe I can share. If you can use some translator, online translator, just come to me, please. And about agroforestry, yes, there are several experiences around the world. Fortunately, more and more countries and organizations are giving attention to that. Even in the last IPCC report, they mentioned agroforestry as a solution to the climate crisis. So it's scaling up the visibility and the needing of agroforestry. So I don't know specific in this part of Europe, but agroforestry is not a recipe. There are principles, and these principles you can use it wherever in the world. I make a joke, you know, even in the moon, in Jupiter, on other planets, you can do it if you understand the principles. I'm not giving you a recipe, but just understand the principles and use it in Kenya, in Indonesia, or Italy, or Brazil, wherever. Just change the species and the combinations and make your puzzle, you know. So that's it.
Very nice, that. And yes, you say maybe the ingredients are the core part is the same, but then you adapt the recipe and adapt to the conditions you have in your own place, but keep the principles. Thank you, Thales. So maybe you can put on the chat box a link to your website or more information where people can get some, or they can contact. I will encourage everybody also to keep contact with this wonderful panelist. And for the translation, I for sure Google Translator or others will help us, or I invite everybody to learn some Portuguese. It's a beautiful, beautiful language. I have also a question for Luca from the audience. So they are asking, what are the specific research and development items for organic agriculture? And I would like also another that it comes from me. This is a very special example, the one you have in Italy with Fiera. Do you see it in other parts of the world, not only Europe, around other regions? You have cooperations with other such initiatives? You're muted, Luca.
Yes. Sorry for that. Yeah, we have cooperation. The most of our cooperation is within the European Union, but we are very happy to exchange at a broader level. at the global level. And indeed, with some of our, let's say, food sovereignty partners, we also try to expand the logic of intervention in order to capitalize some experiences that have been produced worldwide. And and I see flourishing initiatives that are taken by grassroots or organic farmers associations in order to set up not necessarily a research foundation, but research and innovation initiatives. So not necessarily institutionalizing the process, but let's say, producing and reproducing initiatives that can nurture the knowledge that is on the ground. And on the topics, on the research needs, but well, I would say you name it, in the sense that research and innovation, as well as the organic farming activity itself, is really far-reaching. So from what I see at Italian and European level, there are so many different initiatives. Most of them respond to technical needs. So in order to address the soil sphere, in order to grant soil fertility, but also to protect the soil and to improve the soil conditions for plants, but also in terms of pastures, for instance, for animals. And so this is a very important area of intervention, but it is becoming very much prominent, the research and innovation in the area of climate and climate unpredictability. So in order to be more resilient, as Thales said, we are coping with vagaries that we cannot predict. Every year has a different pattern, and it's probably nonsense to just chase these changes continuously, but we need to increase the diversity and the complexity of our systems in order to be more resilient. What Thales said about agroforestry can be applied anywhere. So we're also experimenting agroforestry in the Mediterranean context in order to see what are the, let's say, optimal, but then optimal to whom? Optimal to the farmer, optimal for the environment. Then we can have different formulas, different combinations that can fit the scope and fit the purpose in that very specific context. And so these are areas of intervention from a technical point of view, but there is also an increasing attention to the social component. So for instance, organic districts or biodistricts, as we call it in Italy, are a very interesting experience that was burned in Italy and is quickly expanding elsewhere in order to organize from a territorial point of view the organic farms in order to have a greater cooperation, a greater dialogue and relationship with the local administrators, for instance, or with the tourist operators, you name it. So how to give a sort of common sense for the organic producers in order to organize a better life for themselves and for the citizens. So these are also research areas for us.
Yeah, big challenges ahead, and I think research is a key part that we need to keep on investing and putting all the knowledge, as you said, together and work all the questions and the experiences together. Thank you, Luca, for that. There's also a question for Maya that it says, from your experience, what do you see as the greatest challenge to build the knowledge of young women farmers about ecological agriculture, PGS, farm management? You mentioned already that women actually already have the tendency to manage the household, so they will be actually perfect to manage the farm because they know how to multitask. And also you mentioned when you were talking about the need in Indonesia of farm restoration, of really regenerating soils, refeeding the ground and refeeding the food system. So how you see all that?
Yes, The big challenges for us here is, in my experience, is the mindset. Mostly people here, maybe I don't know, maybe in other countries, but maybe in Asia, we didn't see that the farmers is a profession actually. So it's like being farmers is like you do not need to have a knowledge, so you can do it naturally. So that's the thing that make uh, young people also feels and the women itself like, I know we don't need to do that. Like that's not the option like that. So that's in our first experience when we uh, talk to our relatives, our family, that after graduate from the university, we want to be the farmers. There's some things really weird. Okay, be a farmer is really weird. But then we put our effort on it. We see that the knowledge actually is we create. So that's why we create the class itself. It's to make it easy for them to afford the knowledge. So the class, it's not in a school actually, so in our farm. So we have annual meeting. We also have a schedule of the class. So in our farm, we have a hub, and then we can learn together there. And then also PGS itself, it's same, I think, like in Sylvia and also Thales what already said, that it's not affordable for us for the certificate, third party certification. So when our farmers, they already did the organic agriculture with the national standard, they do as a standard. But when they sell their products, they get the difficulties to sell their product because they have to afford the third certification. And then the PGS comes in, we call it PAMOR in Indonesia. So the PGS come and then give the training also, and then open their mind itself, the farmers, when they know already the standard, but then how to convince the consumer about the guarantee of this organic, it's 100% organic or not. But PGS help them also how to communicate the guarantee, the organic guarantee to the customer. So that's the big challenge. So it's the mindset. The first is a mindset because of farmers is not a profession. And then the second one is the challenges itself in the organic agriculture is the certification. Because when they want to do that, but then they face, after they harvest, they face that I can't sell it in organic because I don't have the certification. And then how they have to sell it in the conventional one, and then they didn't get the fair price. So that's the big challenge in my case.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you. Yes, you bring important points. And this perception that it's not a profession to be a farmer, when actually it's the most important profession, and without them, we will be nowhere. And we need to keep reminding people about that and creating awareness about that, and that we need farmers and we should have more farmers and all at least farm a little too. Then we will give value back to that. We have one question more for Sylvia, one more for Werner, but that he, I think, disconnected the camera. He will join us again. And then I would want to give one last minute to each of you to have one close remark, and then we will jump to some words from Emma. So the question from Sylvia, how we can find kitchen garden products that is 100% organic, so that sometimes it might be difficult. I think you already talked a bit about that. And I would like to add, you brought the key issue of indigenous crops, of traditional crops, local ones that diversify production, that sometimes they are actually more adaptable to the region, etc. Because currently I think we produce only 200 crops, and there's much vast variety of fruits and vegetables that have a rich in nutrients, that are adaptable and adapt better to their local conditions. So maybe you can talk a little bit on that as well.
Okay, fine then. So let me answer the question first on how do we know that the produce is 100% organic. You know, like the good thing is we don't work on our own because I would never be able to, you know, like to follow up with all the groups, with every individual who gives us the produce that comes to our shop. So we actually work with our NOAMs, which are the like the the national organic movements. So here in Kenya, it's called Kenya Organic Agriculture Movement, who went through, lots of training on PGS, and they're actually still working with local farmers, and they actually have field officers. So the field officers are the ones who are employed by COAN, and they go around working with the farmers, encouraging them, just going through the training. And even generally, if the PGS is actually set up well, you'll find that, like most of the farmers will, will be using and following organic principles. So we don't work alone, and we also work with PELAM. PELAM is also the participatory ecological land use management, which is a network of organizations that are, doing organic and sustainable agriculture. So networking is the key. You can't do it on your own. And then number two, maybe I can just mention about us using, and not using, but promoting indigenous vegetables and crops. And, it's been a wonderful season for us, good and bad, because we've been going through a drought. And right now, we've really struggled because it hasn't been raining. For the past 2 seasons, the rains have failed, and now farmers are ready to listen. So every time we are training farmers, they are ready to listen, and they want to know, what can we do? And when you speak to farmers, they always say, but our indigenous crops actually are able to do very well with with little rain. And what we've done, like with our shop also, is that we are promoting indigenous vegetables and indigenous foods, and the uptake has been amazing. And one thing about it is that when farmers are actually encouraged to grow food that is seasonal and that is indigenous, it grows very well, and that way the crops don't even have too much stress, and the farmers don't even have the stress of having to use pesticides. So that's my comment for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. I have a quick question for Werner. Werner, if you can keep it short, so because I want to give you 30 seconds each for one last word, and then we are running out of time. Too interesting. So the question is, how have you managed to keep 300 farmers together, focused, with all their varying interests to ensure that you have a vibrant cooperative? Are they stakeholders, shareholders? Please share a little bit on how you keep them active, involved.
So that's why before I was out, we was answering the question by writing in the VOA. And also for us, it's the most important thing that all 300 farmers have one vote. So if you're big or small, it doesn't matter. If you have a half an hectare, 10 hectares, it doesn't matter. It's always the same political influence what you can have. And that's most important thing, because otherwise a small group of people are just big, have more influence than other ones. That's what we don't want to have. And in our group, we select every 3 years the new council and the new president. And finally, the farmers decide and what we want to invest and what we want to do.
Thank you, Werner. And as I have you right now, would you like, very short, some last message, some last comment?
As you just said, Julia, you have you help to increase the organic sector and speak about it. Use the different channels what you have and speak about them, what you do.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for being with us here, Werner. Maybe Maya, some very short last word.
Yes, by doing organic agriculture and being the organic farmers is the best profession in the world. So for all of young people outside there, don't be afraid to be farmers and do organic agriculture. You are provide the food for other people, the healthy food and then secure food. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you very much. Thales?
Well, let's use our intelligence to do the best, the good, and our always inspiring by nature. Let's be bold and make the change that needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Thales. Sylvia?
Yes, my final words is that, let's move into organic retail. For many years, we have been, training farmers on how to grow safe organic produce. And now let's move across the full value chain so that we're not only training farmers, but we're also making this food accessible and affordable through the retail chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. And very short, Luca also, thank you.
I think we had a nice representation of high quality experiences, a very good sample of the richness that which is out there. So knowledge intensity is the very essence of research, and we had a very nice sample today.
Thank you very, very much. All, it has been an honor to have you, and I have been so inspired and learned a lot. Thank you again. And I want to remind the audience, this session has been recorded, it's still being recorded, and it will be available soon. Let's give us a couple of days to set it up in the IFOAM website and IFOAM YouTube channel, so there we can replicate it. So let me now introduce our final speaker of the day, is Emma Siliprandi. Emma is the lead focal point at FAO for the Scaling Up Agroecology initiative launched in 2018 by FAO jointly with UNDP, WFP, IFAD, CBD, and the UN Environment and the World Health Organization. I know, I'm sorry for all the acronyms. If not, it's too long names. The initiative aims to catalyze cooperation on agroecology within the UN system and with external partners, supporting national processes through policy and technical capacity that builds synergies between countries. Before joining the FAO headquarters, Emma coordinated FAO regional projects on food security policies in Latin America and the Caribbean for 10 years. She is also a professor and researcher in master courses on agroecology in Spain and Brazil, with many publications on the topic. So Emma, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being here to close this session. I hope you got also very inspired by our panelists. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. First, I would like to thank IFOAM Organics International for having proposed to FAO the organization of this important webinar in the spirit of collaboration and the celebration of the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables. This is part of a long-standing collaboration between the two organizations, recognized, as you said, Julia, by a memorandum of understanding recently renewed, which aims to promote agroecology and organic agriculture. FAO and IFOAM upscale agroecology and organic agriculture by providing technical support and expertise, exchanging information on existing good practices and methods, on participatory innovation in sustainable food systems, and raising awareness and performing advocacy activities, and co-creating and sharing knowledge as we are doing right now. Agroecology and organic agriculture have gained importance in the international arena in the last several years. As you may know, and Julia just mentioned, in 2018, FAO and UN partners launched the Scaling Up Agroecology initiative. In 2021, this year, an important milestone has been achieved with the endorsement of the Committee on World Food Security, CFS, policy recommendations on agroecology and other innovative approaches. And 2 months ago, a coalition for food systems transformation through agroecology was formed in the context of the UN Food Systems Summit. But this webinar was really, really inspired, as we learned a lot from all presentations today. We learned how organic and agroecological producers can be an inspiration for small-scale producers and family farmers from all around the world to collaborate for the achievement of the SDGs. The stories shared by Sylvia from Kenya, Maya from Indonesia, Thales from Brazil, and Werner from Italy show us that we can have better production and better environmental through more efficient, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient organic and agroecological practices. We can have better life and livelihoods through innovative organic and agroecological value chains, that generate income, create livelihoods, improve food security and nutrition, and enhance resilience through sustainable managed local resources and increased agrobiodiversity. And we can have better nutrition for all, as Sylvia said, better nutrition and health through improved access, availability, affordability, and consumption of nutritious and safe fruits and vegetables for all. We have also learned from Luca Colombo's experience from the Italian Foundation for Research and Organic and Biodynamic Agriculture on how participatory research made with inclusive participation of farmers and their organizations, incorporating their needs and knowledge, can be more effective in solving problems emerging from the field. In Luca's words, we cannot, we have to work with zero knowledge waste. We have to use all the knowledge that we have available, and we have to highlight the knowledge of farmers. These are concrete examples on how the 10 elements of agroecology can support the transformation of food systems on the field, promoting diversity, synergies, efficiency, recycling, resilience, human and social values, culture and food traditions, circular and solidarity economy, which have all been supported by the co-creation and sharing of knowledge and led by responsible governance. At the same time, through these experiences, we learn about the main constraints producers have faced in developing their practices. I will not talk about the main constraints because we don't have time, but we know that we have to overcome these difficulties, and we have to do this together. And yes, we don't have time also to talk about the situation of women producers, that we know that they faced even more challenges than men in agriculture. So I just want to say that FAO will continue to work collectively with all stakeholders, sharing lessons learned from various projects and partnerships to achieve sustainable food systems, leaving no one behind. And I'm happy to see that IFON Organic International is one of these key partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you very much for closing this wonderful webinar. And as you said, it's now time to work together, to join forces. The challenges are big. And as all our wonderful panelists, they are changing their place where they live. They are inspiring their neighbors, their regions, and changing food system. Climate change is here, biodiversity collapse is here, and we need different approaches to our way we produce, we consume. We need zero waste of knowledge, of food, of everything, and more courage, inspiration, resilience. So thank you very, very much. Thank you everybody for joining us today. And please wait a couple of days and all of this will be available in recording. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it as I did and hope to see you again. And as Werner said, keep on disseminating, keep on creating awareness, use all the channels available, showing the I Grow Your Food campaign in IFOM Organics International, and let's make this a better world, better food system, and more fair to all. Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely day.